name is Dennis Lin, and I will be doing a presentation on student enrollment, specifically formulating recruitment strategies for non-traditional students. There's a lot of focus for the whole university system, focus on first-time freshmen and the problem with the high transfer rates of students going out. So my presentation will talk about how non-traditional students are this new market that the university can tap into instead of just focusing on those students. So the first is enrollment nationally and locally. And nationally, between 2000 and 2010, enrollment grew from 15.3 million to 21 million students. But during 2011 and 2012, this number has been plateauing, and now 2013 you see a decline. And UHCO has been seeing also the same types of increases, but same thing, we're seeing the decline of enrollment, and I'll show you those graphics soon. And now we have budget and enrollment. We have large budget deficits, and with more students coming in, how is the school going to pay for that operating cost of having more students? And actually, UHCO has appropriations, according to the State Budget Office, of 71 million and operating costs of 74 million. So that's a 3 million deficit that year the school is facing. So here's college enrollment by age, and this is age 35 and plus. This is the 24, 34. This is high school students that are coming in, and it hasn't really risen that much, and that's a problem because that's less students coming in, and you're more relying on this group of students, and we're seeing decline here. So my recommendation is we focus on this group right here instead of focusing on these two, because we see the higher number here. These are the higher enrollment. And here's the UH system. So we see increases for 2009 to 2011, 2012, and then boom. UH Manoa lost 400. We lost, what is that, 40 students. And here, this is West Oahu, which is the new four-year college. That's our competition here. And subtotal, we lost, for the UH Manoa, Hilo, and West Oahu is 30. We lost 1,000 students. So how do we increase that? So a specific problem, UH Hilo faces decreased funding, decline in enrollment, and not meeting projection goals. So I'll show you the projection goals that UH Hilo had projected for 2010 to 2015. So my main focus is need to focus on enrollment management and recruitment strategy for non-traditionals. So here's the enrollment that was projected. If we compare this number to what we had before, we projected 400 more students coming in. So how do we fix that? So here's my beginning SWOT, and specifically pertaining to my problem. So low costs for in-state students compared to other schools in state and mainland. So just comparing UH Hilo to UH Manoa, UH Hilo is $3,000 less for resident tuition than UH Manoa. If you compare that to California schools on average, according to the California State Student Aid Commission, California students are paying $21,000 per year. That's for resident stay at home. Then we have diverse student population. We have students from over 25 different ethnicities. We have accredited programs such as our College of Business, nursing school, pharmacy school, small class sizes. This was based, the ratio was 20:1 based off the institutional research office. We didn't have weaknesses, so the high operating costs, so as I said, we have 71 million coming in, 74 million we have to pay. Large amount of transfers. As of fall 2013, 77% of the student population is made up of transfer students. And then we have the projection goals that we're not meeting. And then program funding support. How do we support new programs without more funding? How do we do more with less? Opportunities. We have large supply of population that want to attend college or possibly going to college. And I'll go into that later. An increase in non-traditional students, as we've seen with the college enrollment chart. Decreased state funding. State funding is actually projected to decrease in 2014 and 2015 from 6.4% in 2014 to 6.2%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you calculate the numbers. And then there's one more threat that's in here is potential improvement in the economy. So as the economy improves, students won't go to school, but they're going to the workforce.
Well, wouldn't funding from the government also increase when the economy is good?
Yes, but you would have to figure out how much money would be divvied up to each college.
But it would be an improvement.
Yeah, there would be
about degree of
improvement.
improvement.
But then, will we see the same amount of people coming into the college if the economy improves? So proposed strategic plan. Focus on recruiting non-traditional students versus first-time freshmen and transfers. And then assess current supply of potential students around UH-Hilo. And my main focus is tap into the new market for UH-Hilo to capitalize on, which is the non-traditional student. So what is a non-traditional student? This is based off the National Center for Educational Statistics. This is what their definition of a non-traditional student is. And there are a whole list, and here are some that are important. Work 35 hours or more a week, so they're working. Delays in enrollment, so these are the ones that are not going into college after high school. They're maybe you want to go into the workforce for a little while and then come back and get an education. And this is a big one actually, is a single parent, so they have children or other responsibilities. And that is one of the ones that I will be focusing on. So why non-traditional? There's already increases in enrollment nationwide. Encompasses a large population, which we'll be going into. Untapped market. There's UH-Hilo focuses so much on first-time freshmen and how do we reduce the transfer rates. And there's only, for this semester, there's only about 30 so-called non-traditional students as age-wise. So they're over 25. And that's for this semester. Not over 25, but over 30 and working. And differentiation strategy for UH-Hilo. So all the schools in UH system are facing this problem. So if we focus on non-traditional students, that will make us different. That will give us a selling point. We specifically cater to non-traditional students, something like that. So steps. 1, determine the demographics, which non-traditional students are within the area of UH. Separate into 3 subclasses and market according to their needs. 3, present college directly with cost first and involve personal interaction and communication. when I talk about the third one, it's more about when you market and you have a lead, and you focus on your lead time. So if you have a potential person who wants to go to college, and they're requesting information or something like that, you want to focus on getting that information out to them. And according to Hobson's educational consulting group, they recommend, if it's like a phone call, 3 minutes. You should call that person back within 3 minutes, or have at least an automated system telling them, this is what type of information are you requesting, and here's how you can get it. So here's the phone number, here's the email address that you can talk to, or you can email. So demographics. As of 2010 census data, there are 31,291 people within UH Hilo that are 25 years and older. And if we dissect that, 19.4% have some college or no degree. So this would be potential people who could be going to UH Hilo or just attending college in general. So that means 6,078 possible students could be enrolled at UH Hilo if we focus on just that. So market segment, so we divided into 3 subclasses: the working class, single parents, returning student, and 65 and older. Are we focusing on the working class and single parents? The single parents make up 9.5% of the total population in Hilo. So that's 4,100 people out of a population of 42,000. We have working class people, so people who are, like the definition said, 35 hours or more, or are full-time and their job requires them to get a degree, or they want to get a degree for career development, that kind of stuff. And in 65 and older group, they're looking for new experiences, stimulation. They make up about 11% of the total population in Hilo. And then we have cost and communication. So assessing individual needs. So what do single parents need? They need childcare for their kids. They need maybe laundromat services so they can get their clothes clean, or stuff like that to help them with their daily life when they're attending school. For the older generation, it might be short classes, so they don't have to be in class all day, and they can do whatever they want to do. Working class is very tight schedules, so they want to be either accommodative to their schedule, so midnight classes or online classes. And then we have cost and price sensitivity, so single parents, they have a hard time balancing their budget if they have all these high costs with their children. They have to go to work, pay their bills. How are they going to pay for college tuition if it's $3,000 per semester? So for financial aid, actually, there's ages between 24 and 29 receive 40.5% of Pell Grants, and 30 plus receive 32% of the Pell Grants compared to the non-traditional student, or the traditional student. But all the private scholarships favor the traditional students. And then lastly is follow-ups. So about the lead time. If potential students are wanting to go to your school, how do you make sure the information gets out to them? And how do you make sure that it's given to them in an efficient and timely manner? Okay, so difficulties and obstacles. Tight work schedules, as I said, different learning styles. Non-traditional students will want to be more experiential. They don't want to focus on the theories, the concept. They want to be able to use the information that they learn, apply it to the real world. And then difficulty is dropouts. So there are higher dropout rates just because they have to balance so many things on their plate. And for non-traditional students in the first year, 38% would drop out, compared to 16.2% of traditional students, according to the National Center of Education Statistics. Okay, so ending SWOT. If we do focus on non-traditional students, we could lower transfer rate, so we're more focused on a new group of students rather than these pre-existing ones. We could boost the enrollment projection, or enrollment in general, and the other ones might not be affected that much. It might actually increase this. And yeah, conclusion. So the two departments that should be focusing on this, if it would be the marketing department and enrollment department. They'll have to work together instead of being two separate groups. And yeah, any questions?
Just quickly,
Yes.
in your paper, do you do a cost benefit of the child care center that we will have to have on campus if we try to reach out to this population?
No, I have not calculated that.
That's a really, that to me, that's the centerpiece
Yeah.
of this.
But that would take quite a lot of time to figure out, and I don't know if those resources are available for.
Marilyn Brown is looking into it. I would strongly recommend before you turn your final version on to 11, that you put something about
Okay.
child care. Because that's the first question people ask, and it's a huge issue for people who have kids, that we don't have on-site child care.
Any other questions?
Good question. Thank you.